Baby, do is we love? We don't know. I believe we're live. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me out there? Let me know in the chat. Uh, it's Frankie o'clock. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Wait, I got some chats here. Dodes is here. Oh, this is moved over here. We don't want this up here. Dodes, let me know if you can hear me. The hell's going on? Oh, Phil Adams says audio visual 100%. All right. I guess you guys can hear me. So we got a lot of things going on here at FSPN. Obviously, we got the ESPN ticker up here. We got the FSPN news ticker down here. We also got a game going on right now. I don't know if you guys knew that, but Sauce Gardner's playing. Yeah. They're over in Germany. And right now, the Atlanta Falcons are beating the Indianapolis Colts 7-6. So Indiana Jones trying to keep the Colts rolling, and Michael Penish is trying to get that big penis energy going for the Falcons to turn their season around. The Colts are currently 7-2, the Falcons 3-5, and of course this game is important to us, as every Colts game is going to be important to us over the next 2 years. There goes Jonathan Taylor on a big run. You might want to stop that, Jeff Ulbrich. We got the Jeff Ulbrich defense, and they're running it right up the middle, which is what you do against a solid Ulbrich defense. Everybody knows that. Interesting thing is that this studio, oh, there it goes. It takes a while. Huh. But anyway, so so we got the Colts and the Falcons. We want the Colts to lose. We want the Colts picks to be as high up as possible. So we are rooting hard for the Atlanta Falconians. And it looks like the Colts are just going to do what you do against an Ulbrich defense, run it up the middle. Now Daniel Jones is throwing a bomb, and oh boy, he's got Alec Pierce for a touchdown. He just threw up a prayer, and Alex Pierce answered the prayer. Probably should have been a pick, but instead it's a touchdown. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Daniel Jones throwing up prayers in the end zone. Sauce Gardner over there. Everybody trying to do everything. All right. But we got Alan Dodes here. We got Phil, the Jet Adams, and reminding everyone, yeah, please click the like button. We would appreciate that. We always need the likes. We always need the subscribes. We always need the joins. You might want to join the Inner Circle, where you get exclusive items, including all the grading sheets for all of the relevant college quarterbacks. BC is here. Dode says audio check, visual check. All right. PC says, yeah, so far not a lot of defense in this game except the one strip sack. Yeah. So it could be fun. We'll keep our eye on that game, of course. As we look forward to the season, as we look forward to the Jet game, Jets are playing the Browns. The Browns are in town. And, of course, the Cleveland Browns have a great defense led by Myles Garrett. Their offense struggling with Dylan Gabriel, but you never know. He might break out. So we'll have to see how that goes. Dode says, I just read an article that says MGM has better odds for Simpson to be number one pick than Mendoza. Yeah, well, the rankings of the quarterbacks are Simpson 1, Mendoza 2. I've been saying that for a long time. And that's the way it is. Simpson is just better than Mendoza. He just is. In my opinion. Subject to change. But yeah, those are the two guys we need to keep our eye on the most. If we get one of those two guys, we'll be in good shape. If we don't get one of those two guys, then we got to look to 2027 probably. Phil Adams is getting the number one pick. No, I would say no. The Jets are never going to have an objective like that. Again, the team doesn't try to tank. Wherever we are, we're in good shape because we can always trade up. We have all these picks in 27, so if we want to trade up, We got a lot of ammunition to do so. Um, so wherever we end up, we end up. The team's not going to try to get the number one pick. We know that. If it winds up that way, that's great. If not, okay, we can trade up. We can try to trade up if we want to. We got plenty of options. BC Salami Stefanski gave up play calling duties, but might not mean much with the rookie at quarterback. Yeah, so they got Tommy Reese as the OC now, and we'll see how he does. The Browns are an interesting franchise, of course. They're in the ghetto with us. Um, and they have a lot of talent on their team. It's really kind of weird. The only problem has been the quarterback. But they had Joe Flacco. Then he goes over to the Bengals. Look what he's doing with them. Boy, that was a terrible pass that wound up for a touchdown. Weird, this game of football. But um, like the Browns had Joe Flacco, and then he goes to the Bengals and is putting up crazy numbers. Now, granted, they have wide receivers, and the Browns, that's one thing they don't have. So they need to focus on their wide receivers this offseason, you would think. And but they have a lot of talent. I mean, they have two good tight ends. They have Jerry Jeudy. They have Quinshon Judkins as a running back. So they got a lot going on. If they can fix wide receiver and offensive line, and then, of course, the big one, quarterback. I mean, they made this big move to get Deshaun Watson, and that was a very risky move, you might say, but a very franchise-altering one. If he was the guy and he was their franchise quarterback, they'd probably be off and running, playoff team and all that. But, of course, he hasn't been the guy, and then he's been injured, and then so they've been trying to fix that subsequent to that. And now as Peenish throws to Mooney, who beats Sauce Gardner for a first down. So, that's what's going on with them. They have a lot of talent. They have Dylan Gabriel, who's very smart, kind of short. He's one of these smally smalls. And, so we'll have to see how the game goes. But let's watch. The thing I would say going forward, Phil Adams, would be, let's watch our young players and see that they develop. We really need Membu to continue playing well. We need Fashanu to be good. As many of our young players as possible need to be good. Especially let's watch Adonai Mitchell. That's a kid who has all the talent in the world. Is he going to develop into something good? Nobody knows. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. There's no reason why he shouldn't. He's been held back by bad quarterback play on the Colts prior to them getting Daniel Jones. And then, let's watch a guy like that. Let's watch, can Mechie be a contributor? Can Isaiah Williams be a contributor? Let's watch Tipman. Should Tipman be at guard or center? Those are the type of things we should be watching. And then whatever happens outcome-wise happens. And, if we win, then, hey, we're setting a winning culture. If we lose, hey, we improved our draft position. So as we watch Peenish make a very bad pass here, he's got to improve his accuracy over time. If he does, he can be very good. If not, they're going to be in the market for a new quarterback. As we watch the Germany game, Hai Karate is here. He says, good morning to the FSPN crew. Yeah, we got an FSPN ticker and an ESPN ticker. We're just all tickered out. That was not a good looking play. They snuffed that one out, Julian Blackman. We should have got that guy. Jojo, Frankie, if the draft was today, who would you take? I've said this 1,000 times. I guess I'm going to have to say it maybe 10 million times. It's Simpson 1, Mendoza 2. So Simpson is 1, Mendoza's 2, and I'm happy to take either. So in that order. So if Simpson's available, we take him. If he's not available, then we take Mendoza, and we're happy with him. I'm happy with either of them, but Simpson's ahead of Mendoza. Here's what Mendoza said after the game. You think AG is going to like this kind of energy out of Mendoza if we wind up getting him? Here's what he said. Quote, I'm going to put my life on the line for my team. I would die on that field. I would never sub myself out in that situation. He was talking about took a big hit, in the shoulder or something. I would never sub myself out in that situation, and I would die on that field for my brothers. You think AJ's going to like that energy? you think that's going to play well with AG and Muji and the rest? I think so. So I love them both. Simpson's ahead of Mendoza, but I like both of them, and I'll be very happy with either. BC Salami. I still don't understand helping a division rival with the Flacco trade. Yeah, a lot of people didn't understand it, including old Mike Tomlin. Maybe they want to quiet tank, get Bungles some wins with an old QB who won't hurt you for too long and push them up the draft. I think one of the things that's a legitimate criticism of Andrew Berry is what the hell he's doing at quarterback. The rest of his tenure there with the Browns has been pretty good. But just think about this. He could have just saved himself a lot of trouble if he just stuck with Baker Mayfield. They went through all this trouble and all this nonsense. They gave up all these picks. You could have just signed Baker Mayfield to a long-term deal and save yourself all this trouble. So the one thing Barry's done is have very questionable quarterback decisions. I mean, for example, they got Kenny Pickett this year, and they said, oh, okay, Kenny Pickett's going to be the starter, they were saying in training camp. And then he hurts his hamstring, and then not only is he not the starter, they trade him. Whoa, what? Why? Because of a hamstring injury? What? Everybody gets a hamstring injury every now and then. So that doesn't make any sense. Then they say, okay, now it's Joey Flacco. And weirdly, Flacco plays bad. He was not good with the Browns. He was throwing interceptions, not good. So then they trade him. So they don't bench him and put in Dylan Gabriel. They trade him to a division rival. But they couldn't have thought, well, he's going to play great with them. He was playing terrible with the Browns. So the one thing with Barry and Stefanski that's confusing is how they've handled the quarterback position. They've done everything else pretty well, but unfortunately, that's, as we all know, that's the one thing you kind of got to get right. You kind of got to get it. Hey, karate. Have the Colts given up on Richardson? If so, what's his worth? His worth is basically zero. Now you have the Colts all the way backed up, and they dump it off to Tyler Warren. I do like the way the Colts are running their offense with Daniel Jones. They're kind of making it easy for him. They're limiting his exposure, their risk exposure to the things Jones doesn't do well, and they're majoring in the things he does do well. And that's pretty smart, it seems to me. But what they're going to do with Richardson, nobody knows. What somebody would give for him, I don't know, a 6th-round pick or something. I mean, the guy has so much development to do, and do you have time to wait for him to develop? Yeah, most teams don't have that kind of time. But he's not the guy that we need for us, for sure, no. A dead quarterback wouldn't be much use. Yeah, I think AG likes what Mendoza said. Yeah, I think so. I would think so. And then you compare and contrast that to a Carson Beck who throws everybody under the bus the minute he gets a hard question. That's a guy we don't want. We don't want an Anthony Richardson. We don't want a Carson Beck. We don't need projects over here. We need smart quarterbacks. Saints and Browns. Saints. Well, here's the thing about the Saints. So they have Tyler Shuck. They don't have much else. There's a bad pass by Daniel. I think Tyler Shuck is actually good. I could be wrong, but I think Tyler Shuck's going to show out with New Orleans. And if that's the case, then they don't need a quarterback. We should all be hoping, of course, he shows out and he's really good and they win a lot of games. That way they're out of the sweepstakes. they got their guy, right? And they got their backup with, what's his name? Rattler. They get a twofer. You get your starter and you get your backup. And Daniel Jones now running. See, and I like this. The Colts are doing the things that Jones can do. Look, if you can't find anybody, just run, Daniel. We all know he's fast. He can run. Don't make it too hard on yourself. Joe Mike is here. Well, so Joe Mike will always come in with the media talking points. So it's good to have Joe Mike here because he'll come in with the Badlands crew and the media talking points and always give us a question about, coming from there. So this is something that's probably from the Badlands team. And the answer is, you should know what the answer is, Joe, because Darren Muji told you what the process is. And the process is they have a value on all of their players. They update it weekly. They have a good process in place. And the answer is they didn't get an offer that was more than the value that they had. Now, in terms of his benching, we'll see what happens. Maybe he has a 23% missed tackle rate. So maybe they're trying to get him to get his head out of his ass. And maybe if he does, they sign him to a deal. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But they have a value on everybody. And if they don't get the value, then they don't trade him. I kind of like the process. Harry W., the legend, the myth, the man, the legend. Harry W. is a member of the Inner Circle, has been for a while. He gets all the benefits. He gets quarterback grading sheets. He gets all the stuff because he's a member of the Inner Circle. And so I would recommend folks also join Harry W., the OG, the legend, the man, the myth, is there anybody better than a Harry W. on a Sunday morning? I don't think so. I mean, this man has been around, seen so many things, hangs out in the chats with people, gets everything coordinated, He's got everything going on. Jojo says, Jets might as well start Brady Cook to keep up with what the Browns are doing. Well, the Browns are believing in Dylan Gabriel. They're seeing what they got in Dylan Gabriel, which they have to do. At some point, they got to see what they got in Shador, really, if you think about it. And then we'll see what they do. I think at some point, Deshaun Watson might come back. He's not dead, So, Deshaun Watson might come back, but otherwise, I think it's pretty well understood that the Browns are going to take a quarterback again. Though you wonder, there is this whole thing about their owner is close with the Manning family, the Jimmy Haslam. And Arch Manning's not coming out this year. So you wonder, maybe they stick with Dylan, Gabriel, and Shador this year and wait for Manning next year, though it's always risky to wait. And the 2027 class is going to be very crowded. There's going to be a lot of people coming out in 2027, quarterbacks. So we'll have to see. But Brady Cook is not going to be starting. Aunt Jets is here. You talk about legends. We got a couple of legends in the chat. Aunt Jets and Harry W.? It's very rare, folks, that you see two people from the OG side of the house in the same chat. We must be doing something right this Sunday. Harry W. says, no Joe Burrow. Well, they're not going to give us Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is going to go back to the Bengals. Week 16, Cook versus Shuck. Yeah, that'd be a matchup nobody would want to watch. Although I do think Tyler Shuck is going to be good. We'll see. He had a decent debut. Decent. Here's Daniel Jones looking to pass, throwing downfield. And he's got Alec Pierce. Boy, this Alec Pierce has really turned into a really good receiver. That was another bad pass where the receiver saves his ass. But you watch this Alec Pierce, and it's like, okay, they found their guy here. And they got Doolin, and they got Tyler Warren. Maybe there's a reason they were okay with giving up on Adonai Mitchell. The pass was behind Pierce, and he still caught it. That was a hell of a catch by Pierce. And and we're keeping, for those who don't know, we're keeping track of the Germany game. Indianapolis Colts are up 13-7 on the Falconians, and Tyler Warren making his way down the field. Keeping an eye on that game because, well, it's a game that's on, but also we would really prefer the Falcons to win this game, and we would prefer the Colts to lose as much as possible because we want their pick to be as high as possible. That would really help us out. Of course, our luck, they'll probably win the Super Bowl. You know, bums. But Daniel Jones, you watch him, he is doing the things he can do, and they're minimizing the things he can't do. And, you know, that's a good formula for success. And then running a lot of Taylor, old JT. So that's what's going on in Germany. Alan Dote says, yeah, Harry's the man. Indeed, indeed. Harry says, there's been talks of trading for Joe B. No, we're not. For the Jets? No. I don't know who thinks they were trading for Joe Burrow. There is going to be a lot of bad information going out right now. There's going to be information about Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow and this one and that one. So there's just going to be tons of information swirling, and of course the media loves to use the Jets in any kind of weird-ass story that they want to write. Jones fumble. Boy, he struggles with fumbles too. I think that's his 6th fumble this year, but they've only lost 1. So you wonder, man, if that fumble luck changes, things might look different for the Colts. Because he's a fumbleaya. That one went out of bounds, it looks like. So, yeah, there's going to be tons and tons of weird rumors. There's going to be tons and tons of stuff for the, there's tons and tons of stuff for the media to make their little storylines. Don't worry about most of it. It's all bullshit. All bullshit. All bullshit. Almost all bullshit. Like, there's just going to be, it's really kind of, it's frustrating. It's one of the reasons we have FSPN News, to counter some of this bullshit. You know, but it's hard, man. There's so much media these days, and for the Jets, with so much losing, you know, people can just make up whatever they want. But I would be shocked if we traded for Joe Burrow. Daniel Jones hands the ball off to Jonathan Taylor. Minimal gain. So, yeah, that's something that we have to keep in mind. I mean, these media people are just really something. I mean, you heard Todd McShithead say he's got a source. Listen to this one, Harry. Todd McShithead says he's got a source that says the real problem with the Jets is ownership. Oh, my God. Todd McShay's got breaking news, everybody. The real problem with the Jets is that Woody's an idiot. Wow, wow. Breaking news, everybody. That's the media for you. He's got an inside source that says Woody Johnson is not that great of an owner. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? We don't know, Joe. Yes, I reported. FSPN reported something that nobody else did except for Aaron Wilson. I got it from Aaron Wilson, Joe. How do you think I would find out why? You think I got sources? I don't even have sources, Joe. My source is Aaron Wilson. He's a beat reporter. He puts out a lot of NFL stuff. Yeah, we brought in a punter. None of our beat reporters reported on anything about that. Why? There's something on the ticker about it, the FSPN ticker. Because we got a bunch of bums running around trying to be, beat reporters. They're putting out, would you clone your spouse? And all this other garbage. Dick Chimney, you know what they're doing. Dick Chimney is busy scraping up any negative factoid that he can find in ESPN archives. He's pulling out things like Garrett Wilson hasn't had a 100-yard game in a long time. What the fuck are you doing? I mean, this guy is so bad at his job, Dick Chimney. He just goes around the ESPN offices searching for bad information about the Jets, like negative statistics. The Jet, Garrett Wilson hasn't had a 100-yard game in a while. Oh my God. Like what? What are you talking about? Like this guy just scrapes up negative info. Let me go find a stat about one of the best players on the Jets that's bad. Yeah. Like he actually goes to work and does that. And that's what he's busy doing. I mean, it's kind of interesting that we brought a punter in when our punter's been great. I think everybody acknowledges the punter we have is just fine. Rookie guy, been doing a good job. So what are we bringing this guy in for? I don't know. It's right on the FSPN ticker right there. So I don't know. I guess that's one of the whole points of having the ESPN ticker here and FSPN ticker here is part of it is to make fun of the mainstream media for not doing their job. I don't know what else I can do. So we just got to laugh at them and call them idiots. I mean, you see me do it on X sometimes in a respectful way. You got to be careful. You can't go too nuts. Otherwise, they block you. One of the NFL guys, the national guys, blocked me for some reason. Oh, when I called him out for shilling things too much, he was getting a payoff, and I called him out on it. He blocked me. But that's why these things exist, Joe Mike, and I hope you guys will support me. And I think more of you should join the inner circle because of it. We're powered by Etch-a-Sketch, as you see on the right here. They're powered by gigantic profits and so much money it'll blow your mind. Like if you think about a guy like Pablo Torre finds out. Have you guys seen this guy, Pablo Torre finds out? Well, he makes it seem like he's some independent, scrappy, investigative reporter. He's backed by the New York Times. You know what I mean? And the New York Times has so much money it would make your head spin. And so if you watch a Pablo Torre video, it's produced with like the highest possible quality. It's produced by like incredible production value. But he comes off as like this scrappy, independent, investigative reporter. And he does do some good reporting, so I'm not going to say he doesn't. But it's because he has the entire infrastructure of the New York Times and the Athletic behind him. And so he's got tons of sources. He's got tons of resources. He's got anything you'd ever want and need, and he does some good reporting. But that's the difference. I got nothing. I got Etch-a-Sketch over here. I mean, I've switched over to OBS. I'm doing all these tickers. Like these tickers are because I switched over to OBS, and OBS is free. And StreamYard is $45 a month, and you can't even do these tickers. Maybe you can. I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to do it. But it's $45 a month. I'd rather, use the free stuff. Why? Because I don't have the resources of the New York Times behind me. Alan Dodes, is Frankie going to be on the live game stream today? No, I will not. I'm going to have to miss it. I'm going to have to tell Green Bean here after the show is over. I got to miss it today, unfortunately. Joe Mike Sauce finally gave us 2 picks. Yeah, Michael Penish is now driving. 3rd down and 9. Let's see if he can convert it. They bring a blitz. He escapes the blitz, running around. Can he throw the ball? He cannot. Oh, boy. I keep telling you guys with these quarterbacks, what separates them is the money downs. 3rd and long. They know you're passing. You know you're passing. Can you beat him? They bring a blitz. He can't beat it. So maybe some people will say, see, that's what we got Sauce for. He's in zone coverage. He didn't really do much. But man, this Atlanta Falcons team, if the Falcons do not do well this year and Penish is a bust, then certainly Raheem Morris is going to get fired. Raheem Morris might get fired after this game. I mean, I think the Falcon fans are pretty tired of him. Now they're overseas. If they go 3-6 in year whatever it is for Morris, I think it's year 3 by now. Raheem Morris might get fired after this game, and that'll be another coaching vacancy. But they really need to turn it around, and it really needs to be Michael Penish. I mean, they picked him 8th overall. It's about time for him to start performing. And he's had moments. He's looked good at times. He just hasn't put it all together yet. BC Salami says, the next 6 months is going to be a deluge of crazy speculation, and Twitter is awash with them. Really awful having to hear all of this for so long since Jets season ended so early. Well, you don't have to hear anything. So one thing I would suggest to people, including PC on X, mute people. Block people, mute them, and just create. What you could do is create lists. What I do is create lists for different topics and subjects, and then populate those lists with good tweeting people. You know what I mean? And if so, I have a lot of people that I've muted on X, like probably a crap ton, and I think that's very helpful. You have to filter your media these days. It has to get filtered out, in my opinion. Is the source Woody? It's so weird how somebody like a Todd McShithead will sit there and say, I got inside sources that say Woody Johnson's the problem. Really? You could have asked any Jet fan. You don't need inside sources, Todd. Todd! You don't need them. We all know. And he loves to say, the problem is Woody Johnson. It's like, yeah, we all know. Why are you saying that? It's like saying human beings have to breathe oxygen in order to survive. Yeah, we know. Human beings wouldn't be so good if we didn't eat food. What? Yes, we know. These are the basics of life. Woody's not great. We get it. The problem is Woody Johnson. And then he'll go on some long 5-minute rant about Woody Johnson. It's like, yeah, we know, Todd. We know, Todd. You're not bringing any new information about the Jets, Todd. But I will tell you about Woody. I do think there is a Woody cycle. So tell me what you guys think about this idea. I think there is a Woody cycle. And the cycle kind of goes like this. When it's a rebuild, he hires somebody new that he likes or loves, which is the case with AG and Muji right now. He's hands off. Hands off Woody. Because he just hired them. He sold them on a rebuild. Obviously, we're in a rebuild now, and hopefully it's only a 2 or 3 year rebuild, not a 5 or 10 year. But he sold them on the rebuild, and so he gives them the grace of pretty much doing what they want. And also in a rebuild, you don't have to make tough decisions about cash outlays. For example, these 2 trades we made are going to help with cash and the cap. And so helping with cash is something that Woody only cares about because it's his money. Fans don't care about it. But Woody does because it's his money. He writes the checks. So in these periods of rebuild, in the beginning, year 1 of the rebuild, year 0 of the rebuild, whatever you want to call it, another terrible pass by Daniel Jones. This one Alec Pierce couldn't save. Boy, if Jones regresses and the Colts start losing, though, that is going to be something also. That's another story. If the Colts start if Daniel Jones starts regressing this year and the Colts start losing this year, almost got picked. 27, you had it. And then they have, let's say Jones just regresses to the mean, and he has been overperforming his career numbers. Let's say he regresses to his career mean, and they start losing, and then it comes to the end of the year, and they don't have their first round picks, and I mean that would be terrible. That would be tragic. But then Woody, so then Woody's hands off at the beginning of the rebuild. Then we start to get some players. We do some great drafting. Okay, things going good. But then once we have a stocked roster, then Woody starts to have expectations of winning. And as soon as that happens, if the winning doesn't come, then Woody starts to get meddlesome. And this is where the problem is with Woody. He tries to fix the problem and he makes it worse. And so I think we're pretty much going to have at least 2 years of hands off Woody, which is good. Now, the question is, can we get some wins in this period where it can keep him from being meddlesome? Because as we all know, when he meddles, he makes things worse. So that's sort of like the Woody cycle. What do you guys think about that? Am I wrong? Hi, Karate says, even without sources, you do. Yeah. I think I do a hell of a job even without sources. Jojo says, no Kyler, no Burrow, no sunshine. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. McNamara has been doing a great job. Yep. I think Steve Wilkes is using a sketch to drop the plays. He's been very vanilla. Yeah, it's been surprising. Then again, we got to give him a year or two to get his players. I mean, we said the same thing about Olbrich year one, if you remember, Joe. We got to let him get his players, and then year two, we could maybe. I think he's going to stick around because now, especially now that we made these trades at the end of the year, AG is going to say, well, how could we possibly have done better? We traded Sauce and Quinnen, and the owner's probably going to say, okay, fine. Etch-a-Sketch was witchcraft back in the day. Yeah, it's amazing how these technologies we grew up with, like these basic things, look so primitive now. Todd says, I'm late to the show, but it's a very busy day at the farm. All right, Todd, you got to take care of your farm, buddy. That's most important. Farming is extremely important, people. I don't know if you guys realize, but almost everything you eat comes from a farm. You know, if you've eaten today, you should thank a farmer like Todd. You know, he's taking care of the Aminels, you know. I'm not going to take care of the Aminels. Oh, PC says it's year 2 for more. Is it just year 2? Is that true? That can't be true. My God, it seems like he's been there forever. I mean, the Falcon fans might be worse than Jet fans in terms of that. They are not liking old Raheem right now. But yeah, Todd, Todd has to take care of all these Aminels on the farm. And I'm not going to do it, and you're not going to do it. Todd and his people are doing it, so we got to thank Todd for that. Jojo says, Falcons started season hot, now just stumbling. Yeah, you got to wonder why. Well, it all comes down to Penis, right? Atlanta is the NFC. Yeah. I mean, it all comes down to the Penis man. Does he have big penis energy or small penis energy? And they made him the 8th overall pick when they had Kirk Cousins. And so, I mean, they do have all that talent, but Kyle Pitts Kyle Pitts had a big drop in this game. I mean, why is Kyle Pitts dropping the ball so much? What is going on with Kyle Pitts? Huh? What's going on with the Pitt man? I mean, you know, Kyle Pitts, I mean, they took him 4th overall. He was supposed to be a generational tight end. You'd never seen anything like this guy. Well, I mean, he's big and fast and tall and everything, but you got to actually catch the ball when it's thrown your way, Kyle. And he had a big drop in this game that was basically going to go for a touchdown. He dropped it. Eating too many dropsicles. See, Penis, you got to throw it. He's taking too much time, but there he hits his tight end. All right. Attaboy. It seems like Peanish is not comfortable in the offense enough. He's just too much hesitation and hitching. Too much hitching. Hitch a skitch. Jojo says, I can see the Colts coming down back to reality next year after they sign Jones to a massive contract. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting rest of the year because if Jones, that's a nice catch by 89 there, because if Jones performs well enough and they do sign him to a big contract, then comes back down to earth, of course, that's even worse. He might come back down to earth in this season. Here's a run with Algier. You shouldn't jump, Algier. No jumping. No jumping, Algier. Just win to keep the Woody away. Yeah, because if you think about it from his point of view, he's invested all this stuff. You gave him a plan. He said, okay, execute on your plan. He signed all the checks. And then you start losing. It's like, wait a minute. You told me you were going to execute on the plan. Now, hopefully in the future he kind of realizes his mistakes and maybe figures out a new way to try to fix things when it's not going great, or just doesn't get impatient. I don't know. He's kind of old. So, how much patience can he really have? Now, there's a good throw by Peanish. Over to Drake London, burning Sauce Gardner. I mean, they have a player named Drake London, and then they play the game in Germany. Don't you think the team that has Drake London on the squad should play in England? That's what I would say. But what do I know? So yeah, I mean, at some point, though, you gotta have. If you're Woody, you gotta have a plan that's better than I'm gonna meddle and tell them to bench Tony Adams and this and the other and that. Fired Salah after 5 games. I mean, just some of the dumbest things ever. And so maybe, I can understand it from his point of view. It's like, you gave me this plan. You said by now we'd be winning. You're not winning. I hired you to win, basically. So looking at it from his point of view, he could be frustrated. But then, okay, what do I do about it? The what do you do about it is the problem. Fire a guy after 5 games to bench Tony Adams. These are not things you should be doing as the owner. So Beanish back to pass, looks toward the end zone. A floater! Did he get it? No way. Drake London calling. I think he caught it. Yeah, touchdown. Drake London calling. Boy, he's a good receiver too, huh? Right out of that class when I told you everybody's good. Take whoever you want. Garrett, Olave, London, J-Mo. Take whichever one you want. They'll all be good, I said, and turned out correct. London just running I don't know what kind of route that is. It's a weird one. But he had a linebacker on him. I don't know what kind of defense that is out of Luanarumo, Staten Island zone. Lou, putting a linebacker on Drake London, probably not the best thing. Lou? What are we doing, Lou? Huh? Aunt Jet says, this is a big game for us. Played one of the worst D's last game to one of their best after Glenn's first bye. Yeah. Alan Dode says, the Woody cycle as described is accurate. Can't wait for... Yeah, when you guys hear about it from other Jet content creators, you know where it came from. You see me? when you start hearing about it from other Jet content creators talking about the Woody cycle, just remember who made it up right here. Oh, Frankie. Joe Mike says, hit the like, people. 47 watching, only 22 likes. Yeah, please give the old thumbs up. The milk thumbs. We love it. And it helps us in the algorithm. And it helps us with everything else. And it's free. And feel free to subscribe and join the inner circle, which is not free. Have Mo is here. Good old Have Mo. Good to see Have Mo. AG is a first-time coach. We can't change that, so I'd rather he learn now than us to be a fluke than go back to losing next year. Yeah, let's hope he improves and gets better. I like this comment, Abmo. That's what we got to hope for, because First of all, Woody loves AG. He's going to give him a long leash. He loves AG. And so he's going to get a long leash. And then so we got to hope he improves because who are we going to get otherwise? If we keep firing people all left and right, who's going to want to come here? So let's just hope AG can figure it out, get better, and be here for a long time. One thing about AG, though, he definitely loves being here, even with the losing. And um, and the players seem to really be responding to him. I think they are. And so let's just hope it keeps getting better and better. PC says, well, Morris had an earlier... Right, yeah. Maybe that's why it feels longer, right, PC? But the difference was, right? The difference was when he interviewed for the head coaching job the first time around, the full-time one, he said, the owner, Arthur Blank, said, well, Raheem, what should we do at quarterback? And he said, well, you got to have a quarterback, so you got to take one high in the draft, or you have to sign a free agent to a big deal. You can't make it work with just any old quarterback. Okay. And then Arthur Smith went in to interview, and he got asked the same question, and Arthur Smith said, "Oh no, I can make it work with any quarterback. We whoever we got, Taylor Heineke, Desmond Ritter, Marcus Mariota, whoever it is, I'll make it work," Arthur Smith said. Arthur Smith got the job. And what happened? They won 7 games 3 years in a row. Arthur Smith gets fired, and then they bring back Raheem. And then Raheem says, well, if you're going to make me the coach, my stance on the quarterback is still the same. And what happens? They sign one, Kirk Cousins, to a big deal, huge deal, and they draft one in the first round. They double down on it. So now that made a lot of sense and makes a lot of sense, but whether Peenish is the guy is the question. I mean, they drafted one high, but Penix so far has not been great. He's been okay with, potential all over the place. I mean, he's got a hell of an arm, that guy. Arm talent, as we say. So we'll see. They're highlighting Sauce Gardner on this play. He went with Pitts. Oh, yeah. He took, that's not his fault. He took Pitts, and then London was left with this linebacker guy, and almost dropped it. Sauce already slipping. It's already slipping. Yeah, well, I mean, you got a guy slipping and sliding, and, give up 2 first-round picks for him. Yeah, sounds good. Joe Mike is here. Let's see what Daniel Jones does on this drive. It's 14-13 Atlanta. Jones gets it over to Pittman. Oh, they also have Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, the Colts really do have a good team. I don't really fault them for going for it. I mean, this roster is pretty solid if Jones can just play okay. And so I don't really blame them for going for it with Sauce. We'll see how it all works out for them. But at some points in the cycle, you do have to go for it and say, screw them picks. Did you see that Brownlee was trying to recruit Quandre Diggs? Yeah, this happens all the time, Joe Mike, and I think on my X account I retweeted it, if I'm not mistaken. So Joe Mike and anybody else, I would recommend you follow me on X. Lots of good stuff coming out on X, I think, including when our players are recruiting other players. Yeah, Jarvis, Brownlee, but players do this all the time, so it's not that unusual. I'm sure a lot of other teams' players were trying to recruit Diggs, who got cut. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet, as far as I know. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, he would have an opportunity here. We're very light on safeties. So, depends what he's looking for. He's a veteran. If he's looking for playing time, he could get all the playing time he wants here. That's for sure. We're very light on safety right now. Our starting safeties are Malachi Moore and Tony Adams, backed up by, like Isaiah Oliver and Dean Clark. So we had some problems in terms of safety. Got some problems in terms of safety. Jersey for Hawks is here. The rest of 25 should be a Trout for 26. That's all we got. Identify needs. Yeah, I mean, I think, it'll be interesting to see what Adonai Mitchell is, for example. Can he start to fulfill that potential that he has, or is he just going to be one of these guys with all the potential in the world who never puts it together? Same thing with John Mechie. Are those guys part of the team next year, or are they sort of like shots we took but didn't work out? You know, we got to decide what to do with this offensive line. We need it. We need two. We're going to need two guards. If we don't do anything, we need two guards for next year, for example. Assuming that Tippmann goes back to center, which is what I would do. But yeah, that's what we got to do. Let's watch our young guys. Is Malachi Moore part of the solution or not? Let's watch him. How does Jawan Briggs look? That's it's kind of disappointing. We're not really too concerned about wins and losses at this point in time, but that's just where we're at right now. And so, yeah, it's kind of annoying to have to watch, Jawan Briggs and Malachi Moore and Adonai Mitchell and see what they bring to the table. But that's where we are at as a team. And so, it's just the way it is. All right, let's check the news sources here. Check the old news sources. See if any of our amazing beat reporters. So there's going to be a tribute to Nick Mangold today at the game at MetLife. Obviously, you would expect that. So there'll be tribute. There'll be, as they say, there's a huge flag unfurled here for Mangold. I also hope we get a patch. Can we get a uniform patch? We need a 74 uniform patch, and we should keep that uniform patch forever. Why can't we have a 74 uniform patch forever? Why? You don't have to take it off the next year. We need a uniform patch. The Colts have a Jim Irsay uniform patch. I think we need a 74 patch. And I say we just keep it forever as part of the uniform. Mangold, forever a Jet. There goes Danny Jones running. Gets out to the plus 49, plus 49. Justin Fields will be starting, in case you missed it. It started to leak out yesterday that Justin Fields will indeed be starting, even though Aaron Glenn refuses to tell the media, which I think is great. Sack-a-lack on Jones. Third down. Wonder how the Colts fans are feeling right now. I mean, they're losing to the Michael Penish-led Flacons. And Jones is looking all right. Even his touchdown throw to Pierce should have been intercepted. There was another pass that should have been intercepted. There was another pass that was behind Pierce that he caught. He's not exactly been efficient. He's gotten lucky on a couple. Let's see how he does at the end of the half. 19 seconds remain. Jones back to pass, throws a deep ball, and it, in fact, is picked in this time. Just go down. Stop with this nonsense. So Jones, boy. And this is actually a reason why you would not get rid of Anthony Richardson. What if Jones turns into a pumpkin? This way, at least you have Richardson, who has some kind of potential anyway. He has physical tools out the wazoo. Boy, oh boy, what was he even looking at? On some kind of penalty. Yeah, you can't have a nice play without a penalty these days. Jesse Bates with the pick. Danny Boy Jones. uh, so Dick Cimini's telling us a big key for the Jets is preventing Myles Garrett from wrecking the game. Did you know that? Beat reporter Dick Chimney is saying that Myles Garrett is pretty good. Did you guys know that? How many Jet fans were unaware of Myles Garrett being like really good? Like, uh, PC. One thing I saw in some pro highlights for Mitchell as negative is when he goes up for passes, is he going to get hit? He gets alligator arms. Yeah, so Joe Blewett was putting that out when he goes over the middle. But let's see how he does. There were a couple I thought Joe was being a little harsh. There were some who was like, yeah. One of the ones I thought Joe, or a couple of the ones I thought Joe was being a little harsh. But we'll see. I mean, look, if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. He was a throw-in. I mean, a hell of a throw-in. 74 patch. Yeah, let's hope they do a 74 patch, man, because we need one. Joe Mike with roster fringe questions. Asa Pole was developmental, so when we needed a roster spot, he had to go. So it's not that they outplayed him, but Newman and Max Mitchell you could put in the game. Asa Pole was developmental. You can't put him in the game this year. 74 patch for 74 games. I say 74 patch forever. Why do you got to take it off? I mean, Nick Mangold he never played for any other team. He was always a Jet. He was forever a Jet, other than Ohio State, of course. So one of the few players who played his entire career here. I guess DeBrickashaw did also, which is kind of interesting. This is what we want. Colts going into a slump. Yeah, absolutely. And Jet with a emoji. Big with the hot take again. Yeah, everybody, the key to the game is making sure Myles Garrett doesn't sack you 17 times. Oh, I didn't realize that. That's amazing. What an amazing insight from Dick Chimney. Myles Garrett. You're telling me Myles Garrett, probably the best defensive player in football. I mean, let's think about it. Is there anybody better than Myles Garrett in football as a defensive player? I'd like to see that person. I mean, he's Myles freaking Garrett. Have you seen this man play? He's a monster among monsters. He's like King Monster amongst monsters. This man was built to play football. He's incredible. I mean, I think we should just watch and marvel at how amazing he is at football. Don't even worry about what's happening with the Jets. Just be like, wow, we get to watch this athlete play football in our era. I mean, it's like, getting to watch Reggie White or, one of these incredible players from the past, but he's doing it right now. You can watch it today. You get the honor of watching one of the all-time great athletes. I mean, is there any doubt Myles Garrett, first ballot Hall of Famer? This is the kind of player that people are going to be like, wow, you got to watch Myles Garrett play? Yeah, we did. So that's how good he is. He's he's that good. But Dick Chimney wants to remind you that a key to the game will be trying to limit the damage. It's interesting. You wonder about, do you really think Dick Chimney, like, what does he think of the fan base? Like the collective intelligence of the fan base. I put in the ticker yesterday that he put out a tweet saying the Jets should be quote unquote interested. Here it's coming right on the ticker now. Journalist in quotes. He said we should be interested in quotes in these college QB rankings because there was a new ranking saying Mendoza's number one or whatever it is. And he put out a tweet saying, Jet fans should be interested in this. Oh, really? I didn't realize that. But you have to wonder from his point of view, like, what does he think of the Jet fan base? Does he really think like 75% of the fan base doesn't know what's going on or doesn't understand that, we need a quarterback, so therefore these college kids are important to keep an eye on? Like, you wonder. Havmo says, Ruck needs to help Mems today. Yeah. Unfortunately, the problem with that, Havmo, is Myles Garrett gets double and triple teamed by everybody every week. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to beat those. So they move him around. He's amazing. I mean, just watch him out there. He's an amazing, amazing player. You could say double team him all you want, and yeah, we will try to double team him, of course. But he's used to double teams. That's what he gets all day long. They move him in, they move him out. Sometimes he's doing basketball moves. You never know what this guy's going to do. He's just a phenomenal athlete. We should just be honored to be on the same field with him. Let's put it that way. This man is so good, it's unbelievable. They should put him on offense. They should make him a fullback. That'd be interesting. Mitchell is a really good throw-in, right? Exactly. We'll see what he's got, PC. And if he's got alligator arms or he's got some other problem, we'll just get rid of him. Who cares? We're no better. We're no worse off than before. We didn't have anybody anyways. We got Alan Lazard and frickin', Josh Reynolds. You know what I mean? So might as well try this kid who does have clear talent. I mean, if you watch those Joe Blewett clips, yeah, there were those negatives. But how many times was the kid open, wide open? And Richardson throws it out of bounds, throws it over his head, throws it 5 miles away. It's like, just hit this guy, Anthony. He's wide open, Anthony. Just hit him, Anthony. Hey, Anthony. The guy's standing there wide open in the end zone, Anthony. Just hit him, buddy. I can't do it a lot of times. So, yeah, if you watch those clips, you see he's getting open. So it's hard to get open in this league. We now have Arian Smith, Adonai Mitchell, who have incredible get open scores. That's 2. And Garrett also very good. So that's 3. So if Fields can't make it work with these motherfuckers, I mean, come on. Anybody who's excited should be Justin Fields. I mean, if the line holds up any kind of way, somehow, these motherfuckers get open. We now have 3 get open guys. There should be no problems. Wilson, Mitchell, and Smith, Arian Smith, get open like nobody's business. And so, now if he's, if the line's breaking down and, Miles is all over the place and, okay, all right. But, going forward, and I don't know how much Mitchell's going to play. He may not play much. Who knows how much of the playbook he knows, all that. But going forward, the next 2-3 games, when there's no Myles Garrett around, Justin, that excuse is going to go away for Justin in terms of wide receivers getting open. We got guys who can get open now. So that excuse, I think, is going to go away. So let's see how it goes. It could look very different if Fields would just throw the ball. So Harry says, I will wear my 74 jersey at the bar during the game today. This is one of the reasons why Harry's a legend. You know what I'm saying? This man will pull out a 74 jersey, out of his closet. He's got it in the Foot Locker, and he's got it, dusts off the mothballs, dusts off the dust, and there it goes. And now he's got a 74 jersey just ready to go, just in case. You know what I'm saying? And now he's going to wear it at the bar. He's going to go to the bar, first of all. He's going to order himself up a burger. I'm going to bet Harry W. in the mood for a burger and fries. I'm going to say medium well on the burger. Gets himself a burger. Gets himself some steak fries. Aren't steak fries delicious? Well, all French fries are delicious, really, but gets himself a large beer and puts on the game and says, Let's go Jets. I think that's a beautiful thing. Jojo says, Myles Garrett, the best I've seen since Reggie White. Yeah, so this is the point. It's like Reggie White was amazing to watch. Remember? Reggie White, he was incredible. He would just take one arm and just boom, and you'd be out for 16 weeks. That man was one of the strongest men of all time. And what a joy to watch. If you had no rooting interest in the game, like, let's watch Reggie White, one of these people. There are certain people you just want to watch. Saquon Barkley, Aaron Rodgers back in the day, Reggie White, Darrell Revis, Let's watch these people. These are special people. Reggie, Miles, it's amazing. So let's not worry about it. Let's just say, wow, we get to watch Myles Garrett today as he kills us. Because he probably will. Let's be honest about it. Let's put it this way. If Myles Garrett doesn't have, let's not say that. If Myles Garrett has two or fewer sacks, hey, we're doing good. Let's hold him to two or fewer. Let's try to go for that. Phil Adams, Chimney hates all Jets fans. He takes great pleasure in our pain. But at the same time, Phil, he does make a living using us as, we're the ones who click on his articles and click on his tweets and pay attention to him. He wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for us, if you think about it. So he does need to appeal to us in some way, but it's like an interesting thing. He'll find negative things, which is also good and drives engagement, but then he'll find some positive things. He'll find some, interesting things. There's a little mini concert going on right now in Germany. At halftime of this football game, they're putting on a little mini concert, I guess. I guess that's pretty cool. Of course, we can't hear the music or that broadcast at all, but Joe Mike says, Super Freak. Remember that song? Super Freak it out. We'll be wearing a Namath Salute to Service jersey today. All right. Well, we always got to salute to service. So, all right. It's 11:06. We're at halftime on the show, on the game. So I think we'll call it quits for the day. Thanks to everybody. I'll be back with a reaction. I won't be able to be on the Green Bean channel today, but I'll see you guys at some point. Thanks for joining. I think everything's going pretty well with this OBS and the tickers and everything else. But thanks for joining Coffee with Frankie. We'll have plenty of videos this week, and then we'll be back again live next week to drink some coffee and talk about the Jets.